Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So some of you guys might be wondering why there is another reading going up so soon after we just posted the last one. I wanted to share this reading with you guys as soon as possible because today's reading is actually going to be a fundraiser. So all of the ad revenue from here on YouTube, as well as all of the sales from the extended readings, are going to be donated. I have teamed up with Project Love Brocade, which is an aid initiative founded and run by registered therapists in my home country of Canada, and they are providing eSIMs to families in Gaza so that they can communicate with the outside world, and they're matching these families with people in the outside world with the goal of creating real human connections with the people in Gaza, as well as amplifying their crowdfunding campaign so that they can evacuate to safety and rebuild their lives. I was matched with Faris, who is a 17-year-old boy. He is raising funds on behalf of his family of 8, which includes his parents, 3 sisters, and 2 brothers, one of whom is just a baby. I've been keeping in touch with Faris every day, and he is the sweetest boy ever. He is a double Pisces. Yes, I did ask his birthday, and he also taught me that his name Faris means knight, as in the Knight of Cups, and I think that's just such a beautiful name. Before the war on Gaza, Faris had a dream of following in his older sister's footsteps to study software engineering. He says, "I am a dreamer boy who excelled academically, and I wanted to complete my scientific studies to achieve myself and help my family." His sister Donia, she's 24, and she graduated from the College of Engineering and Urban Planning. And she also had big dreams for the future, but she's been unable to pursue them. Faris also introduced me to his baby brother Mohammed, who is so adorable. He's just starting to respond to his family's movements and try to make sounds. And he currently needs formula because there is such a lack of proper nutrition. It's been difficult for him to receive milk from his mother. Faris says, "I hope that Gaza will be free soon and we will experience the feeling of freedom like you. I would like to experience those feelings. I had high hopes of being successful in my country, which I love, but I did not have much luck. Now I aspire to complete my education and travel outside the country." So again, all of the revenue generated from today's video is going to go to Faris and his family. So if you'd like to support them, the easiest way to do this at no cost to you would be to let the ads play on this video. Of course, if you do feel called to the extended reading today and you would like to purchase an extended, that is also a great way to help them. And I will include the link directly to their GoFundMe campaign, just to leave that option open if you would like to donate an amount of your choice. This is the most effective way to support them because GoFundMe, I believe it's only 3% of a transaction fee that they would take from your donation, which is significantly less than the cut that YouTube and Vimeo would take from our earnings. So I'll leave that option for you as well, of course, if you feel comfortable and you feel called to it. I'll be checking the earnings on this video once a day, and I'll be donating the equivalent to the GoFundMe campaign myself. For complete transparency, I will share screenshots of our earnings here on YouTube as well as on Vimeo, and the donations that I'll be making every day so that you can follow with the progress of the campaign if you would like to. I will share those on my Instagram story, so if you did want to keep track of the progress, feel free to check that out on my page. And I also recommend checking out Project Love Brocade's page. They have information about how they verify these campaigns and how they get the funds to the families. They are also looking for more amplifiers if that is something that you're interested in. And as we move forward with this campaign, I will continue to brainstorm ideas of different content or different ways that we can help Faris and his family. So if you guys do have any ideas, please feel free to let me know. Before we get on to the reading, Faris sent me a video of himself that he would like me to share so that you can see him and the situation that he's currently in.
Hi everyone, let me introduce myself to you. I am Faris. I am a knight from Gaza. I am 17 years old. A very ambitious young man. I had hope for life, but for 10 whole months we had been fighting death. We survived with our bodies, but our souls died. The moment the occupation killed our dreams and threw them to the ground in the wind, today I am speak specifically about myself and my family. But many young people are in the same situation as and are suffering the same pain, the suffering of displacement and famine.
And providing the necessities. Life has become very difficult. Life in Gaza is expensive.
And living it is much more difficult, but I have hope that you will help me and my family to save our lives and get out of Gaza as quickly as possible, as the crossing will open soon after it was destroyed the occupation. But the cost per person reaches $5,000 with other supplies, so I hope that living consciences. Thanks.
I'm confident that we can come together and help Faris and his family get through this. It is because of you that I even have this platform and that I'm able to do things like this, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I can't do my little arm thing because there is a pug sleeping on my arm, but I can do it with one arm. Let's get on to the reading. Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So for today's pick a card reading, I am so excited for this topic. I feel like we haven't done this one in a long time, but we are going to be seeing what will happen the next time you meet your person. So this person can be anybody who is on your mind, any type of connection. I am looking today at your next in-person encounter. So this will be the next time you actually meet face to face, and we are gonna get all the details surrounding that whole encounter. This is going to be a juicy one. I'm gonna get into like the full list of what's covered in this reading once we choose your group. So for now, we're just looking at the options. There are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today, and for each group we're going to be using a different tarot deck, and I've also placed a crystal palm stone on top of each. And I am going to be showing you the 2 of Cups from each deck so that you can get a feel for each deck's artwork. So when you're choosing your group, you may be drawn to the crystal, the back artwork of the decks that you see here, or the front artwork. So there's a few different factors to help you choose, but without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. For my number 1s, your stone is Lepidolite, and your deck is the Cat Tarot. And here is the 2 of Cups. For my number 2s, your stone is Moss Agate, and your deck is the Landscapes Tarot. And here is the 2 of Cups. For my number 3s, your stone is Pink Calcite, and your deck is the Lucid Minds Tarot. And here is the 2 of Cups. And for my number 4s, your stone is Crazy Lace Agate, and your deck is the Golden Marseille Tarot. And here is the 2 of Cups. Okay, so just in case you need a bit more time to pick, these are all of your options laid out side by side so that you can compare them and see which one is calling to you the most. As always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the Lepidolite, this is going to be a reading all about your next encounter with the person on your mind. So I want to just start off by going through our list of everything that is going to be covered today. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. And here on YouTube, we're just going to start off by looking at what is going on in this connection with your person. So we'll take a look at your energy, their energy, and the energy that exists between the 2 of you. Sort of like the main themes of your connection. Then we are going to see your guides' insights on this connection, anything they would like you to know or what they think about the connection. The main juicy part of this reading, of course, is going to be about your next encounter with this person. So there's a lot that we're going to get into for this. We are first going to see who will initiate this next encounter. what will lead to you meeting again, the setting and the environment of your meeting. So where is this going to happen? Is it going to be just you? Is it going to be other people there? Like, what is the event? Then we're going to see how you'll feel when you see them, how they'll feel when they see you, what you will talk about during this meeting, and what you will do together during this meeting. And then we're going to finish off the reading with messages and advice from your guides. So that is the YouTube reading. And then in the extended, we're going to see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter lead to? We're going to answer a yes or no question of your choice. I am assuming it will be about the connection or about the encounter. So my answer might assume that, but you can ask any yes or no question you want. And then at the very end of the extended, we're going to see any hints about when this encounter is going to happen. So that is the whole reading today. Thank you so much for being here. And now let's get into it. So we're going to start by seeing the overall energies of this connection. You can think of this part as like an energy check to make sure that this is your group. But these cards on the left represent you. These cards on the right represent your person, and this card in the middle represents the energies between the two of you. If you listen to this description and you feel like it's flipped, this sounds more like your person, this sounds more like you, that is totally fine. You may even find that you resonate with the energies on both sides, or even that you tend to alternate between them depending on the day or your mood. That is totally fine too. But if you don't see yourself anywhere in this spread, then this is probably not your group. So without further ado, let's get started. So these cards representing your energy are the Seven of Air, which is the Seven of Swords, awareness, caution, and consequences. And then we also have Moon Magic with transformation. The cards representing your person's energy, we have the Seven of Water, which is the Seven of Cups, choices, overanalyzing, and procrastination. And then we have Moonstruck, take a breath. And then for the energy that is between the two of you, we have time. The energy of time supports our understanding of the relativity of time and our capacity to be present in the moment. So the fact that we have this time card in the middle, it really makes me think that divine timing is likely a big factor in this connection. It may have been quite some time actually since you last saw this person. Maybe it's been longer than you expected, or in general, it is taking longer than you expected for things to progress. The feeling that I do get intuitively about this connection is that it will be quite some time from the moment that you first meet, or for the moment that you first know of each other, to the moment that your connection really comes together in the way that it was meant to. I feel like that is going to be quite a long span of time. 444 as I say that. So definitely there's a feeling of divine orchestration, but also divine timing. And you're coming through with the Seven of Air. I'm thinking how air is quite a fast element. It is the fastest one. And also, this is a card that can talk about deception, but it's more so giving me the feeling of disillusionment in this situation where perhaps at the start of this connection, you were feeling really excited and you anticipated things to move forward quite smoothly or quickly. And when it didn't do that, you maybe felt disillusioned by it, like, oh, I was so naive to think that things were going to happen that easily, or things were going to come together that quickly. With deception, you may feel that this person misled you into thinking that things would move along more smoothly, or maybe even felt misled by external signs you were seeing or messages you were receiving about the connection, because I know this person looks quite disappointed. And when I was holding this card up to the camera, it actually wanted to focus on this person. So you may be feeling like this right now, or you have spent some time feeling like this in the connection. But I also want to mention that this card has the energy of Aquarius. So I do think that you have been working on getting out of your feelings in this situation, like detaching from your emotions, trying to look at the situation objectively. And I do think at this time you have been focused on your own growth, on your own transformation. It does seem like you're in an energy of focusing on yourself. And actually, I do think it's relevant that both of you have number 7s. I think that this is a sign of mutual feelings in the connection. You also both have fixed signs in your energy. So you have the sign of Aquarius, they have the sign of Scorpio. You or your person could have these placements. That could be a confirmation, but I think that more so they're here to represent the fixed energy, meaning that the feelings are mutual and neither of you are going to be changing how you feel anytime soon. That I can say for sure, but I feel like you have gone through that disappointment and that disillusionment of, okay, this is probably going to take longer than I was expecting, whereas I feel like your person is still very much in their feelings. We have this message of overanalyzing. So your person could be spending a lot of time thinking about you and overanalyzing past interactions, overanalyzing what this connection is and what you mean to them and what is supposed to happen, and kind of swirling around in their head like that. And I also think they could be overanalyzing and overthinking when it comes to how to reach out to you next. You know, it could be theoretically very simple for them to just make a move, reach out to you, arrange a next meeting. But this 7 of Cups energy, it kind of gives the feeling that they are making it more complicated than it needs to be because they are overthinking so much about like, what is the best way to do it and how are they going to perceive it if I come forward like this versus if I come forward like that. And especially when time has gone by, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where it's like the more time has gone by, sometimes the more awkward it can be to reach out, because it's like, really, after all this time, like it's a bit too late for that now. So it's like they're making it later and later by overthinking, and then the fact that it's getting later makes it worse, and then they're just overthinking about it more. So this really has the feeling of someone who is stuck in their head. And we have the number 444 here. This could also be, oh my gosh, we actually saw that number earlier on the camera timer, but this could be a sign that your person is seeing signs that remind them of you, or more generally, they are just seeing a lot of things in their surroundings that remind them of you. I do think that this person is thinking about you a lot and is very much in their feelings. I'm also looking at these chakra cups. There could be a sort of clairsentient connection that is going on where you're picking up on their emotions and vice versa, and you may actually feel them in specific parts of your body. And it's really interesting to sit with those and feel where in your body it's coming from when you do pick up on a sign from your person. And literally, yeah, procrastination, that is definitely their energy. I think with Take a Breath, quite literally, I feel like they do need to chill because the place that they're in is kind of overcomplicating things, but it does seem like they're in an energy where they need to just like sit with how they're feeling and process it and understand where it's coming from. And I feel like you're more so in an energy where maybe you have already done that, because I do see with the 7 of Air that you're ready to accept, like, okay, the situation wasn't what I thought it was. You know, I was like super excited and thought things were moving forward, but like, that's not what it is. I've processed my feelings and I'm gonna focus on me right now. So that seems like your vibe. So if this sounds like what you have been through in this connection, then congratulations, you found your group and we're gonna keep going. So the next thing we are going to see is your guides' insights on this connection, anything they would like you to know. We have mirrors with the number 26, and we also have 1111 on the camera timer as I'm showing this card, which is a mirroring number, because it's all the same number. So yeah, definitely signs of you and your person mirroring each other. I wouldn't be surprised then if listening to this description, you can see yourself in both sides. You could even simultaneously be in both of these energies because humans are confusing like that. Or you may kind of alternate between the two depending on how you're feeling, if there's like external triggers and things like that. But yes, this is confirmation that you and your person are absolutely mirroring each other. And then we also have blades. The numbers 26 and 29 could be relevant somehow, like someone's age or like dates. The numbers 2, 6, 9, 26, 29 could be numbers in significant dates, like birthdays or the day that you met or something like that. And these are the same color as well. They're both orange. So, and orange is the color of the sacral chakra, which I feel like corroborates that message of having a clairsentient connection with this person. So you and your person, you're definitely picking up on each other's emotions. For some of you, I do feel like you can discern like, oh, this is my person's emotion that I'm picking up on right now. Some of you, it might actually be hard. Where does my emotion end and where does theirs begin? But I also think for those of you who are creatives, you might channel each other's feelings through your creativity or like your big inspirations for each other's creative process, because sacral chakra does have that creative energy too. It also has a sexual energy, but I don't know what kind of connection this is. So just in case that's like an uncomfortable thing to talk about for the nature of the connection, I won't really get into that. But for those of you who do have that type of connection, just know that that energy is there. Like it's there and it's strong. But in particular with blades, it does give a feeling of your insecurities mirroring each other or your wounds mirroring each other. So you could have very similar things that you are working through on your inner journeys. How your insecurities and limiting beliefs manifest outwardly may look different, but it does give the feeling that you're struggling with the same things. And so you may be able to, at first glance, the other person's behavior might seem confusing and like, why are they behaving like this? But I think if you go to the root of it, you would be able to relate and empathize with that wound or insecurity that is at the heart of it. And also both of these cards, that's probably why they're the same color, because they're both threshold cards. Me trying to think what threshold means. It's like a tipping point or like a point of change. So I wonder, okay, we're gonna have to get into the rest of the cards, but you could be reaching a threshold in this connection where things are about to change. Okay, so we're gonna get into the main part of the reading now, where we look at your next encounter. So keep your person in mind as I'm shuffling. The first thing we want to see is who will initiate this next meeting. Right away, I feel kind of a messy energy, just the way the decks are behaving. So there could also be a lot of time and a lot of back and forth between when you originally decide that you're going to meet. Okay, so that would actually imply that your next meeting is going to be a conscious decision and that you're not going to be like randomly bumping into each other somewhere. It seems like the two of you are deciding that you are going to meet. But from the moment that you decide to meet to the moment it actually happens might be a little bit messy. So it might be hard to find a time that works for both of you, or like one of you is like forgetting to reply and then the date that you had decided like already passed, and you're like, do you want to hang out this weekend? And then the person responds like next Wednesday and they're like, oh shit, sorry, I just saw this. Are you free this weekend? No. And then like not being able to find a day. There could be some cancellations. There could be some reschedulings. It just feels kind of messy, for lack of a better word, to finally get it to happen. Okay, so we have the 8 of Cups. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lay all of them out and then we'll get into everything. What will lead to you finally meeting again? We have the 9 of Swords. The setting and the environment of your meeting. I also feel like this thing keeps happening where a card almost falls out, but then it doesn't. So it just feels like messiness surrounding making plans. Like for some reason, it's hard to make plans and you might actually end up meeting in a different place than what you decided. So just for one example, let's say you were going to like meet at this side of town and then they text you right before and are like, sorry, I'm still at work, but I know it's getting late. Like, can you meet me near my office? And so there could be like a sudden last minute change of location or change of plans on the day of. This messy energy could also be like you or your person or both of you. The next time you meet, it's going to be kind of a hectic time in your life, but you're making it work. Okay, we have, what is this? This is the 8 of Swords. How will you feel when you see them? Lots of Swords, the 7 of Swords. So there's that same energy again. How will they feel when they see you? The 5 of Swords, holy crap. And what will you talk about when you see each other? The Star. Okay, and what will you do together when you see each other? The 4 of Cups. Okay. Wow. I'm shocked at how much sword energy is here and a lot of air energy. So air, 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 air. And then the Star is also air energy because it's the sign of Aquarius. And then we have these water energies, which are like encompassing all of the air. Okay, so I think how this is going to happen is that you will be messaging back and forth. In terms of who is initiating it, if one of you has Pisces placements, then it could be that person who is initiating, or the person who is older between the two of you will be the one to initiate. And it seems like you're talking back and forth and you decide to meet up. And then I think it's going to be your person who is acting kind of hard to pin down. I'm just thinking of Piscean energy that it's elusive. It's water. You know, it's hard to like get water to stay still and to hold it. And also Pisces is like a slippery fish. So I do feel like it's going to be hard. You may have those moments being like, are you free on this day? And by the time they get back to you, that day has already passed. Or there may be like last minute cancellations and things like that. And I actually think that they feel really bad about it. I don't think it's them just... It's not like they don't feel like meeting you anymore. I think things are actually popping up for them. And with the 9 of Swords here, I do see this as kind of anxiety on their part, because it's like they can sense that every time they do this, frustrating you, and they may even be blowing it up in their head. Like maybe for you, it's an inconvenience, it's frustrating, it's disappointing because you wanted to see them. But in their head, they're like, oh my gosh, group number one is going to be so done with me. They're going to be so mad at me, because the Nine of Swords is really like catastrophizing and blowing up the situation, like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. And so it does seem like there's going to be a couple times where they have to reschedule or cancel, or they just didn't get back to you on time. And every time that happens, it's like they get more and more anxious that they are messing things up. And I actually do sense that after a couple times of this happening, you will likely feel like just leaving them, like, okay, I'm like, maybe this is not a good time for us to meet up. It seems like you have a lot of stuff going on. So you just kind of like, it seems like you're going to kind of ease off of it and leave them to, like, you let me know when you can meet. Cause like I've proposed a few things and it hasn't worked. So you let me know. And then just kind of, cause you're in this more detached energy. You see, this is what it looks like to me. So after some time of going about your life, I do think that they will get back to you, and that they will then be the one to initiate and be like, let's meet here, let's go to this place. It does seem with this Eight of Swords here, I can't say a specific place that you're going to meet, but I do feel that it's going to be low key. So I don't see you like in a busy place with a bunch of people. So even if you did meet in public, it would probably be a more quiet place, like a more quiet and intimate place. Like for example, like a little hole in the wall bar or cafe where there's not that many people. Or it could very well be someone's house. I just don't see you out with a lot of noise and with a lot of people, because you might have a lot to talk about with this person. Like they may sense that there's a lot for you to talk about, and or they just want to talk to you a lot. So if you're in like a noisy place, or if there's a lot of people right around, it might not be that comfortable to have that kind of one-on-one conversation. But it seems like you're either meeting with the intention of talking over a lot of things, or you just both kind of intuitively sense that that's what's going to happen. You both just have that knowing of like, oh yeah, when we meet up, there is going to be a lot to talk about. And so with that, I do think that your person might feel a little bit nervous leading up to this meeting. You might be feeling a little bit nervous too, or just like you're anxious to get things off of your chest. And it's funny how this works, eh? Like how old versions of you can be triggered, because what it seems like to me is that you were in this place of being quite detached and focusing on yourself, and that was going really well for you. Like it genuinely felt really good and really right. And then when it comes to the time that you are going to see this person again, it's like that old nervousness comes up again, that those old attachments come up again. It's interesting how that happens. So in terms of how you will feel when you see them, we have the Seven of Swords, which is already your current energy. So I do think that you are stepping into this meeting with the intention of not getting in your feelings, with the intention of not getting too attached, with the intention of not getting your hopes up. But there is this feeling of, you might be kind of fighting with yourself, because I think there is an emotional part of you that when you're on the way to see this person, you are kind of starting to expect something. You are kind of starting to get your hopes up. Maybe you feel yourself getting excited. Maybe you feel those old feelings kind of bubbling up again. And so there's this part of you that's telling yourself like, okay, we have to chill. We have to keep it cool. We have to not get too attached. We have to not get our hopes up. But that might not feel the most authentic in the moment. It's like playing it cool when on the inside you're feeling like, yeah. I don't know what that screech was. You're just inner feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing them. Be cool. It's like that kind of feeling. In terms of how they feel when they see you, there's this recurring I mean, it started at the very beginning of the reading. There's this recurring thing that your person feels like you are mad at them or that you are upset with them. You see how these cats have their back turned and like, you know, there's a disagreement that has just happened. It's not that they think you don't like them, but they might think that you're upset. And maybe that's true. Maybe you are upset at them for some past things, or just disappointed with how things have progressed or how things have not progressed in this connection. But they are definitely in their head during this meeting and feeling like you're upset. It's interesting that there's two cats with their back turned. So if you have any like mutual friends or mutual people in your life, they might assume that they're upset as well. Or it might be something where like, oh, group number one is definitely mad at me, and they've probably like told their friends about me and their friends are mad at me too. They have this feeling that people have their back turned. But I mean, you could very well be upset or frustrated or disappointed. I imagine that you're not done with this person, or it's not like you don't want anything to do with them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going to meet them again. But it does feel like the energy could be a little bit tense between the two of you, at least at first. Because like I said, I feel like it's been some time since you've seen each other, and maybe some time since you've really communicated about your feelings. So you're just kind of going off assumptions about how the other person feels, which I think when you let your head make assumptions, it tends to choose a more negative narrative. I think if you were relying on your clairsentient connection, like those sensations that bubble up within your body, you would know that neither of you is mad or neither of you is done with each other, and both of you are actually longing for more closeness. But when you let your head call the shots and when you let your head make the assumptions, your brain tends to be like, they hate you, they don't want to see you anymore. You know, it just kind of jumps to the most negative thing, because our brains have that negativity bias. And so I think they're definitely in an energy of making negative assumptions about how you feel and what you want to do with them. But when it comes to what you are talking about, this is interesting because the star talks about hope for the future and a bright future, but the way the cat is knocking over the glass, you may be talking about, you are talking about the future that you had envisioned for yourselves before things messed up, so to speak. At least they're perceiving it like they messed something up. And you might have feelings too of like, oh, if only I had done this or that, things could have gone better. Kind of, there's a feeling of kind of talking about what went wrong. And so when we're talking about the future, rather than it being like an actual, what do you see our future looking like? What would you like to do in the future? You're more talking about what you wanted to happen, what you envisioned to happen at that time. And it's, you know, secretly, it may still be what you actually want to happen. Like let's say this was like someone you were in a talking stage with, or you were going on dates with them or something, and they're saying, yeah, like I really saw us ending up together. They're kind of speaking about it in past tense. You know, this is the future that I wanted at the time, but secretly it's the future that they still want. But it's like at this point, it feels weird to say that. At this point, it feels awkward. So you may both be kind of secretly talking about a future that you still do actually want, but talking about it in past tense, if that makes sense, as if these are the wishes that you did have at that time. And then with what you'll do with the Four of Cups, there is actually, the cat is drinking. So you could be going for drinks, or like where drinks are present, whether that's alcoholic drinks, coffee, tea, which also does feel more low key. You know, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're going to have this like 8-course meal together. It's like, let's meet for coffee, or let's meet for, I don't know, boba, bubble tea, and talk about our stuff. And the Four of Cups does make me think that this conversation, you will be talking about the important stuff, but I do think that there's gonna be quite a bit of silence in between, because you're taking time to think about what you want to say next, and you're taking time to process what the other person just said. It doesn't feel like you're just blurting things out and like exploding with all of these things that you wanted to say. It feels like you're communicating very slowly. So they're thinking a lot, and then they're saying, you know, I feel like this and this, and I wanted this and this to happen. And then you're sitting there and you're taking it in, and it's quiet. Yeah, I get it. And I was feeling like this. And so the way I'm seeing it is like, if there was another person there, like at the next table, for example, and they were like watching you, they'd be like, wow, they're so quiet. Like, I feel like a lot of the communication is happening in the silence. It's happening in the nonverbal cues. And I don't know, it just could be a situation where both of you are feeling a bit awkward, because it's like, it's been a while, but it just feels like a conversation that needs to happen. And then once you get everything out in the open, then you've like cleared away all of that uncomfortable energy, and now you can start building a new foundation where things are smoother and things are more comfortable between the two of you. Because deep down, I think that that's what you guys really want. And yeah, I kind of wonder if you or your person, you were imagining this meeting as like, it's going to be so intense. And when we see each other, it's all just going to come spilling out. And we're going to say all the things that we've been thinking for these weeks or months or years. And then it just ends up being like a very slow, silent exchange. And it's like, oh, I see. Yeah, but you need time. Like, you need time to process. And even after this meeting, I think you need time to process what each person has said. And probably, I mean, I don't know, but I imagine this is just to clear the air about things in the past. And like, these were my intentions at the time. This is what I wanted at the time. And so I feel like for your next meeting after this, it begs the question, well, what do you want now? Like, we have to discuss that as well, because clearly we have both not let go of each other, and clearly we both feel like there's unfinished business, and clearly we both wanted things to be different. So are we going to try to rewrite this story because we can? Are we going to try and do that? Or are we going to let go? Because I know neither of us want to do that. So this is like, I guess, an awkward conversation that is really constructive and that really needed to happen. Yeah. So for the last part of the reading, we're going to look at messages and advice from your spirit guides. So we are starting with revolution. Again, seems like the possibility for change. Yeah, literally, things have got to change. Things have got to change. Move carefully, gather support, make sure the timing is right. Be fearless, trust yourself. To be successful, work for positive change. We also have great power. I don't know if these are exactly the same shade of red, but they are both red. So reds and oranges coming through for this connection. So when we're speaking about your clairsentient connection, when you are picking up on this person's energy, you will likely feel it in your lower regions, like in your lower abdomen kind of situation. Yeah, there's a lot of potential. Yes, exactly. Like, there's so much potential here, and I feel like neither of you are ready to just throw things away. There's a lot of potential. Use your power for good. Be careful, strong, and principled. So we have move carefully and be careful. strong and principled. Do what is right. Be humble in your strength. Think of others and act with grace. And then finally, we have a time for healing with balsamic moon. And what I really love about this moon is that it is so close to being a new moon, meaning that you are so close to starting a new chapter with this person. You're so close to like a fresh slate and a new beginning in this connection. And I feel like this last sliver of moon represents this awkward conversation that you need to have. And then once you do that, you can like breathe out and you can move forward in a new energy. And I feel like this may be an exchange where a lot of the healing happens afterwards, because I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record, but I do feel like in the moment, the exchange between the two of you might feel like pulling teeth and it might feel kind of uncomfortable. But then after the fact, and with Gather Support, I do think you should talk to trusted friends or anyone you feel comfortable talking to, of course, about what went down during this meeting and how you're feeling about it. Because insights you receive from others could shine a new light on the exchange that you had with your person, that you realize, oh wow, it was actually really good that we had this talk. It's really good that we moved through that and we got our emotions out on the table. And you may, with like, be careful, make sure the timing is right. You may take some time, like after this meeting, you may take some time to just process things and not like rush into seeing them again. And also thinking of them, like they may need time to process things as well. And I do think it's funny, like before this meeting, I could see you being in like an anxious energy and like wanting things to happen quickly. But then once you do see them again, it's like something shifts and now suddenly you're patient. You're like, now you are intentionally creating more time until you move forward. You go from like, why aren't things moving faster? Why aren't they moving faster? To then seeing them, having this conversation and being like, I think we should take it slow. But it feels good because it's your decision. It's not like the universe is making you wait. It is your decision. I feel like it is best to take things slow right now, because I do think there's a lot of healing that's going to happen after this exchange. And okay, you guys are low key like doing energy work on each other during this exchange. And yes, exactly. Because I was just going to say, I've had a few people do energy work on me. Sometimes they're consciously doing it. Sometimes they are unconsciously doing it. But a lot of the energy work happens not in the words that are being said, but just that, in the energy, in the silence, in the nonverbal communications. Even when the person is not speaking, downloads are coming in. And it's less about the exact words that they're saying. And so when you're with your person in these silences, your higher selves are doing work on each other, are healing each other. And after a session like that, it can take a few days or even a few weeks for all of the downloads you received to implant themselves, so to speak. Why am I thinking of like a fertilized egg? No, it's because I've been reading a book about like cycles, and that's why I'm thinking about eggs. But like it needs like 10 days or something, at least 10 days to implant. So you need to have a luteal phase that is at least like 12 days or something. Anyway, this is not about periods and eggs. This is about implanting downloads that you received from each other. But in the same way, the download needs time to, I also sometimes think of it as like when you swallow a pill, it doesn't break open and go into your bloodstream right away. It needs time to like, to dissolve, and your body and your energetic body needs time to absorb it. So the healing is not just going to happen in the moment of your exchange. It's going to happen over the following days and the following weeks. Yeah, that went a lot off the rails, but I hope that you understand what I mean. So anyway, this is what I'm seeing for this part of the reading. So we're going to take it over to the extended now, where we see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to? We're going to answer a yes or no question of your choice. And then we are going to see any hints about when this next encounter will happen. So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have a link down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your person, to your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number twos. So if you guys chose the moss agate, this is going to be a reading all about the next encounter with the person on your mind. So I want to start by just going over the full breakdown of today's reading. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended today. And here on YouTube, we're going to start by just seeing what is going on in this connection. So we're going to look at the overall energy of you, your person, and the energy that exists between the two of you and sort of the main themes of this connection. Then we're going to see your guides' insights on this connection, whatever they would like you to know. Then the main part of the reading, so this is the real juicy part, we are going to look into your next encounter, and we're going to be looking at a lot of different things. So we're going to see who will initiate this next meeting, what will lead to you meeting again, the setting or the environment of your meeting. So what type of place is this going to happen in? Where is it going to be? What's the vibe going to be? How you'll feel when you see them, how they'll feel when they see you, what you will talk about during this meeting, and what you will do together during this meeting. And then at the end, we're going to get some messages and advice from your guides. So that is the reading on YouTube. Then in the extended, we're going to see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to for the two of you? We are going to answer a yes or no question of your choice. So this can be literally any question you want. I might actually, for group number one, it didn't matter if it was about the connection or not. So yeah, it can really be any yes or no that you want to ask. And then finally, at the end, we're going to see any hints about when this next encounter will happen. So that is the reading for today. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. And now let's get into it. So this part of the reading is going to be like the overall energies of the connection. So you can think of this part as an energy check to make sure that this is your group. These oracle cards on the left are going to represent your energy, and these oracle cards on the right are going to represent your person. And then this one in the middle, 222, as I'm talking about the energy that exists between the two of you. And you guys are group number 2. This in the middle is going to represent the energy of the connection, the energy between the two of you. If you listen to these descriptions and it feels flipped, like these cards feel more like your person and these cards feel more like you, that is totally fine. You may even find that you resonate with the energy on both sides, but if you don't see yourself anywhere in this spread, then this might not be your group. So without further ado, let's take a look at the cards representing your energy. And we have Awakening. So this is the Hanged Man, pause, perspective, and selflessness. Then we have the Cold Moon, face your fears. For the energy representing your person, we have the Two of Earth, which is the Two of Pentacles, balance, prioritization, and playfulness. And we have Howl at the Moon, process your feelings. And then for the energy in between the two of you, we have the Divine Feminine. The frequency of the Divine Feminine supports our soft, receptive, and nurturing side, facilitating our intuition and intrinsic understanding of our connection to the cosmos. What a beautiful energy to have between the two of you. I am getting really good vibes from this connection group number 2. The fact that we have this Divine Feminine in the middle, this lets me know that your connection to this person has allowed you to embrace your Divine Feminine energy, or to just appreciate more the Divine Feminine energy. Also, something that I'm picking up is that this person has a very grounding influence on you, especially if you start to feel like you're getting lost in your head, like you're getting stuck in a loop of thoughts, if you're feeling overwhelmed with life. 444, as I'm saying this, which is like the number of grounding and stability. So I really think that is an impact that this person has on you. Like, they help you come back to your body. They help you come back to earth. They help you simplify and work through the situations that you are worried about, and realize that one step at a time you can make things better in a practical way. And I think that this person inspires you to take action when you're stuck. Like, when you get stuck in your head, when you get stuck in overthinking, I feel like this person really helps you out of it and shows you how you can practically take action to improve your situation. So it seems like they have a really positive influence on you. And I think that, okay, I'm looking at this Hanged Man, which often talks about us gaining a new perspective. So I feel like this person helps you see yourself in a new light, or more specifically, they might help you see your feminine energy in a new light. What I'm intuitively picking up on is that perhaps some of you viewed being in your feminine energy as like unnecessary or frivolous, or like you had an aversion to being in that energy, which reflects how our society is. But upon being with this person, I think you may have realized that it's not actually that you have some kind of like disdain for the feminine energy or an aversion to the feminine energy. It may actually have been that you were afraid to stand in it, because to be in this soft and receptive energy, you need to feel safe. And so a lot of us moving through the world, we can have a hard time being in our feminine energy because, unfortunately, sometimes we don't feel safe in the world, or we don't feel safe with the people we're around to really soften like that. So we have to like move through the world with this hard shell. And in order for that to not hurt, I think we tell ourselves this story about like, I don't need to be in my feminine energy. Like, I'm a strong man, because that's what society values. Not that there's like inherent man and woman attached to feminine, masculine energy, but we do be living in a patriarchy, and being in your masculine energy is what really gets you ahead and what is praised and what is prioritized. So a lot of us adapt to that in order to survive. And I think that being with this person, maybe for the first time ever, maybe for the first time in a long time, it seems like you feel safe to really be in your feminine energy and to be in that receptive, sensitive, soft energy, and to just be. I think this person makes you feel safe to just be without having to prove yourself, or without feeling like you're not enough because you're not doing more. And yeah, I think this person embraces just being rather than forcing your life to be a linear journey where you go from A to B, where you go from unsuccessful to successful, where you go from unworthy to worthy. It's like, no, just be here and just be you. And that's already perfect. That's already enough. We even have like playfulness and balance here. I think you have this effect on each other where you really just remind each other what life is all about, and you make life sweet and you make life fun. And I love this energy. I'm just letting it fill me up because it feels very good. So thank you. Thank you, group number 2. I'm noticing a lot of P's in the keywords, like pause, perspective, prioritization, playfulness, process. So that could be someone's initial. And actually, P is the 16th letter of the alphabet. So the number 16 could also be relevant to this connection somehow. But I think your guides really love how this person has worked with you and how they have influenced you. And I do think that when we're talking about facing your fears, it is a fear of letting your guard down, a fear of softening, also a fear of surrendering and just being receptive to what life has to offer you. Getting over a fear of like, you don't always have to have it all figured out. You don't always have to know what you're doing. You can just surrender to the flow sometimes. And that doesn't make you lazy. That doesn't make you irresponsible. That doesn't make you unmotivated. In fact, a lot of the time, accepting that you don't know what's going to happen and surrendering to the flow makes you reasonable, makes you realistic. And I feel like we just have it backwards a lot of the time, or we just need to be more balanced. And I think your connection is a beautiful example of balancing masculine and feminine energies in a helpful way. Your person has balance on their side too. So I know that you've really helped them balance things out as well. I wonder if this was someone who, before meeting you, they maybe took life very seriously or took themselves very seriously, which robbed them from a lot of pleasure. Like they might have been also out there in the world feeling like they needed to prove themselves, and receiving your unconditional care and support and having you around as someone who just loves them for their soul and their essence rather than, their job or their status or their money or their possessions or anything like that, maybe helps them to realize that feeding their soul was also important and was also fulfilling. I just see this boat that is left unattended and there's a feeling of like, yeah, we got places to be, but we're in no rush. So let me just play on this fence for a while. I think that both of you help each other just slow down and enjoy the journey. It's almost like your souls are saying to each other, like, where are you rushing to? What are you trying to prove? Why do you move around the world acting so busy? Like, we have time. Do you want to stop and play with these butterflies? Do you want to just vibe together? Like, it's just it's very beautiful. And I wonder if you guys kind of met in an unexpected way. Like you weren't really looking for each other, but life just kind of brought you together. And I feel like the story of how you met or how you became friends or how you ended up together, whatever your relationship is with this person, it feels very serendipitous. Like it's interesting. And I also feel like you, the version of you, let's say 5 years ago, would not expect you to be at this place in your life. And it just all feels very beautiful and fated how you came together. And I really like this word prioritization as well. I do really think this is someone who makes you a priority, that you are one of the first people they think about when they think of people who are important to them, people they care about. And I do feel like for quite a few of you who chose this group, they are already demonstrating that and finding ways to show you that you're a priority and backing that with their actions. If they're not doing this yet, they're definitely moving things around in their life so that they can. 1313 as I'm saying that. They might be releasing or ending things, walking away from things in their life to make more room for you, because they really want to demonstrate that you're a priority. And I also think when this person is with you, they feel brave to go into the misty, abstract world of their emotions. They feel courage to go into their shadow and see what's down there, which is something that they maybe had a hard time doing in the past, or that it was hard for them to do on their own. Because it's almost like, I feel like for your person, they might know that they have shadow work to do, but they don't know what prompts to use, if that makes sense. I feel like when they're talking to you, you ask them all of the right questions. You ask them all of the right insightful things so that they can find the answer. You are a really good catalyst for them in their inner work. And I think you've helped them have a lot of epiphanies, like, wow, you mean this whole aspect of me was like based in a wound? You mean this ambition was a trauma response? Like, just things like that. Those are just examples, but I think things that they kind of took for granted in their personality, or like, this is just the way I am, you've helped them to see what the root is, and if this is a habit or an aspect of my personality that I want to keep, or do I want to change it? And to know that they can change it if it's not serving them. There's kind of a feeling of maybe they had just been living on autopilot, and you helped them to stop and be introspective, and helped them to see emotions that were swimming inside of them that they hadn't realized before. They hadn't realized they were there, but they were very much governing their choices and their actions. And so it's like, now they can move forward more consciously. And so I just feel like both of you must have an immense gratitude for each other. And I really do think you've had a beautiful impact on each other's lives moving forward. So in terms of zodiac signs that are here, we do have Pisces energy with the Hanged Man, and then Two of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. More specifically, it's Jupiter in Capricorn. These could be confirmations for you. You don't have to have these signs, but I just mentioned them in case it fits. Yeah, so next we are going to see your guides' insights on this connection, anything they would like to point out. We have elixirs with chance. So again, this word chance makes me think that the way you met and came together was very serendipitous, or your guides are hinting at serendipitous events that are about to happen in the future. And elixirs, it does feel very healing. And then we have earth with nature. Aww, like, I feel like both of you are just you're such awesome people. You're so down to earth. You're so humble. You're so, like, you treat everyone equally. And I think that when you're together, well, I think that you guys are just laid back and being yourself in general. But I think when you're together, just something really special happens where you can totally be your most natural self and never worry about, is this person going to judge me? When it comes to, for example, your appearance or the things you say, you know that, obviously you are respecting each other, but you don't have to worry about, like, are they going to think I'm weird? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to be turned off by me? Like, you know that you can just be your natural self, and they will just get it. And I also love this seed growing. I think you've really contributed to each other's growth, but little by little, this connection feels very grounded and realistic, where it's not like you met each other and suddenly you solved all of each other's problems, but it's like through going through the motions, through being in this connection over time, little by little, you have experienced real and lasting growth. And perhaps your guides are also hinting that there's a lot of growth to come with this person. But it just feels like elixirs and earth, it feels very nourishing, like you really nourish each other. The letter E could also be a significant initial, or the number 5 could be significant. what numbers do we have here? 12, 16, 2, 42, and 13. Yeah. So we're going to get into the main part of the reading now, which is looking at your next encounter with this person. So we are going to be using your tarot. This deck is so pretty. You guys made a good choice. So the first thing we want to see is who will initiate this next meeting. Which one of you is going to initiate this next encounter? We have the Queen of Cups. What will lead up to you meeting again? The Chariot. Okay. What is going to be the setting or the environment of your next meeting? We have the Nine of Cups. Lots of water energy. Like all of these are water so far. How will you feel when you see them? The Six of Wands. How will they feel when they see you? Justice. What will you talk about the next time you see them? The Nine of Swords. What will you do together the next time you see them? The Eight of Cups. Okay. This is really nice. This is really nice. So in terms of who will initiate this next meeting, who is going to be moving towards who, so to speak. With the Queen of Cups here, this could be indicating if one of you is a femme and one of you is not, then it could be the femme person who is initiating. Or if one of you is a water sign or has strong water placements, it could be indicating that it's the more watery person. You could also say like the one of you who is more emotional, the one of you who is more sensitive, the one of you who is more like tapped into their spirituality, tapped into their intuition. That will be the one who is initiating. But I also think that there are external forces that are bringing you together. This looks like being swept up in the current. The Chariot, which being a major arcana, feels like the universe is working to bring the two of you together. So rather than one or the other of you like initiating the idea to see each other again, I feel like it's that the universe is facilitating you coming together and the universe is going to be moving you to them. I do wonder if for some of you there's travel involved in seeing each other again, because the Chariot does indicate movement. So, and especially because there's a bird flying. Some of you could be flying to go see this person. Or again, this Chariot is just indicating that you will be moving towards them. In terms of what will lead to you meeting again, the Chariot does feel like receiving some kind of green light. So, for example, if there is travel involved, maybe someone needs to get time off work, or there is some visa process that needs to be approved, or something like that. It feels like the external circumstances have to line up and you have to receive some kind of green light from the outside that says, okay, you can go now, you can go see each other now. And I think that whole time you are very much wanting to see each other, but you're also at peace knowing that you will. I feel like for this group, it's pretty much a given that you're going to meet again. And I think you know that. So I think most of you are not watching this reading trying to be like, will we see each other again? It's like you already know. You already know, and you're just here for the vibes of what's going to happen. It's really hard to imagine a world in which you do not meet again, because you're just that close with this person, or your souls are bonded like that. It doesn't really make sense that you wouldn't. And yeah, so I think even though there may be suspense of like, or like anxiousness, not anxiety, but like, I'm so anxious to see you again, I think that deep down there is a calm. Deep down, you both know that you'll meet again and that you'll be together. And I feel emotional when I say that. I do think that this person is missing you quite a bit, and we'll get into that. But in terms of the setting and the environment of your meeting, it is going to be somewhere where you feel very much in your element, where you feel at home, where you feel the most comfortable. So for some of you, this could be like, well, I feel the most comfortable when we're in their living room and we're like snuggled up on the couch. For others of you, it might be a part of the world. You might be like, well, I feel the most at home when I'm in my country, or when I'm in their country, or when we're in this other place in the world. Like wherever you feel the most like unstressed and natural. You know, we were talking about nature and being your most natural self, and I feel like that's where you're going to get to see them again. Yeah, like, and this just looks like an oasis, you know? I think being with this person feels like an oasis. It's like, if the world is a desert, it's like coming back to the water and just being in your element and being where it feels right. And in terms of how you'll feel when you see them again, this is interesting too with this Six of Wands, because, well, obviously this means you're going to be feeling really, really happy. This is Jupiter energy and Leo energy. And Leo energy is extremely affectionate, loving, generous, passionate. So this reunion with your person is going to be magnifying all of those energies within you. So I think when you see them, you're just going to be feeling over the moon and wanting to shower them with love and affection. So you might be like clinging on to them quite a bit, wanting to have your arms linked, or wanting to be hugging them a lot, or cuddling them if it's that type of relationship, or just really wanting to be in close proximity to them. I also think you're going to be very vocal about how happy you are to see them. You could be complimenting or praising them a lot, and just being very sweet together, honestly. And it's also coming through that this reunion does represent some kind of milestone for you in your life, or some kind of milestone in your connection. So this is just one example, but this would be like if this was someone you met online, like an online friend, like an internet friend, and this is your first time meeting in person. That is a milestone in your connection that you're always going to remember. Like when Aso and I met for the first time in New York City, like we will never forget that. We will reminisce on that. We will observe the national holiday that is the first time we met. So it's like, it's that kind of thing. Or like maybe this is a long distance partner and you can finally move to be with them and live in the same place. That's a momentous day. You know, it feels like your next meeting, there's something important about it. It's a date that you will like put in your calendar and you will remember it. This is the day we united. This is the day we reunited. Or like, this is the day we're starting a new chapter together. And it does feel like something to be celebrated. I also feel with the Six of Wands that you probably had to overcome some obstacles to get here, especially external obstacles with like logistics, like the time and the place, and there may be some rules or laws surrounding seeing each other again, especially if travel is involved. So it's like, it's definitely going to feel celebratory and like, we did it. We got through all the crap and we got to see each other again. And now we can just hang out and let our guards down and be happily together again. And then we get to justice, which was what made me think how much your person is missing you, because when they see you, they're literally going to feel like justice has been restored. When this card came out, I heard in my mind, all is well in the world. When they see you again, all is well in the world. This is what they've been waiting for. And for your person, things do not feel normal when you're far away. You being together, you being close to each other, that is their normal. That is their, is stasis the word? Homeostasis? I don't know. That's their, that's when they feel like everything is in balance and everything is as it's supposed to be. And if you're gone or if you're far away, something just feels off and like a piece is missing and they're waiting for it to slide back in. And then when you come back, it's like, there, everything is right again. Everything is in order again. So I do feel like they're going to feel a great sense of relief when you are together. And I do think that they're going to be really gratefully receiving your affections and receiving your excitement and your passion and any sweet words that you want to say to them. And this also makes me feel like you are going to see them, because there's a feeling of them graciously receiving you and having everything in order and having everything prepared to receive you properly and to make a transition easy for you and like to show you a good time. So yeah, it kind of seems like they're going to be making arrangements because they know you're coming. And so they're like cleaning things up, making space for you. They may be, making an itinerary. Like, it's not going to be like you just show up and they're like, okay, what do you want to do now? It's like, oh no, they were ready. They've been planning. They're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then we're going to go to this place. And I do feel like you're going to be together for quite some time, at least more than a day. Cause it's like, they have a whole thing planned about what they want to do with you. And they're just it's like they're graciously welcoming you and holding space for you. It's really beautiful. In terms of what you will talk about, these cards, obviously the Nine of Swords is kind of a heavy card, but I feel like these two together are really nice. And this Eight of Cups really does reinforce that message of this reunion being a milestone. Like, definitely from this point forward, from this next meeting forward, there is a chapter that you are leaving behind and a new chapter that you're beginning. And so it's almost like, I just heard the word toasting, like you're toasting to the new chapter. I think you're just celebrating a new era that you're entering into with this person, and you don't want to bring any baggage with you. And so I think that something you will be doing is talking about your fears, talking about what maybe makes you nervous or makes you anxious, talking about negative outcomes that you want to avoid, talking about your concerns, which might feel like a damper on the jovial energy, but I think that it's necessary to talk about so that you can leave them behind in the old chapter. The feeling this is giving, it's as if you're meeting on December 31st. And so you're like getting all your grievances out about the year that passed and saying like, this is what I'm worried about moving into the new year. And just like proactively addressing all of it so that if obstacles do come up, you've already talked about it and you know what the other needs to feel safe in that situation, and you know how you're going to address it so that you can move into the new year starting January 1st with like a plan and feeling lighter and feeling like no matter what happens, we've got each other. So I wonder if one or both of you, like you're together, you're having a great time, and then you have these concerns that you want to mention, but there may kind of be a feeling of, oh no, I shouldn't bring them up right now because like I don't want to kill the mood. But I actually do think that these kind of topics will be welcomed, because behind them is the desire to maintain this happy energy. And if these things go ignored, then they're going to fester, and then somewhere down the track they're going to blow up in your face. So it's actually good to just like address them now and then like move into the next chapter with clarity. There's kind of a feeling of we've overcome a tough chapter and we're celebrating that, but also we still have a lot of work to do moving forward. And we recognize that yes, we've gotten through a lot of challenges, but there's also more challenges ahead. And those challenges are this, and this. And the Nine of Swords can talk about really being in your head and blowing things up, like kind of blowing things out of proportion, which I don't know about you guys, but I often find that if I don't talk about my worries, I will just like run off with them and magnify them times a million in my own head. Whereas if I just talk about it, I'm like, oh, it's not that scary and we can handle this and we can fix it. So it's kind of like, we're not going to ignore these challenges. We're going to talk about them, and that's going to make it easier. And we know that we're in this together, and there's going to be ups and downs in the path ahead. But for now, we're just so happy that we're together and that we're reunited. So yes, that is the vibe of your next meeting, which is so cute. And for the last part of the reading, we are going to just get some messages and advice from your guides. So, oh, these are upside down. We have repairing. Things have gone wrong through your own doing. Look inward to find out why. Be determined, seek guidance, work hard to change things for the better. Believe in yourself. It feels like you guys are going to be in a reflective energy. And it's interesting, this message of things have gone wrong through your own doing. Look inward to find out why. It feels like you could be, because this is a long event, you know, this doesn't feel like, oh, we're just like meeting for dinner for a couple hours. Like this is a long next meeting. Like could be several days that you are seeing each other, or like it feels like a longer kind of thing. And so there's going to be times where you're just like happy and celebrating and enjoying each other's company. And then there's also going to be these moments where you're looking back and, oh, I wish that I had done this differently. And I'm sorry that I behaved like that before. And just, you both could be, it feels like you want to tie up loose ends before moving into this next chapter together. And so I think that both of you are going to be in an energy of like taking accountability for things that maybe went wrong in the past, like for miscommunications, or if you had hurt each other in the past, and just kind of taking ownership of things, and both kind of declaring here and now that you're willing to put in the work to make things better in the future. We have increase. I feel like you guys are entering into a era of abundance with this person. I honestly, my mind did immediately go to money when I saw this. So you guys could both be entering into your wealthy era. You could even be doing something together that is profitable, or you're just both thriving in your respective careers. But that is the very first thing that came to my mind when I saw increase. Make the most of new opportunities, focus on your priorities, find mentors, develop a positive mindset, be generous, and pursue worthy goals. There's a common theme between these two cards of seek guidance and find mentors. I get the feeling that one or both of you is embarking on a new journey, and you might need some professional help with that, whether it's like a manager, an advisor, a lawyer, perhaps. Like you're planning something. You're planning a new stage of your life that you may need some help with. It feels like something pretty official. There's maybe like documents, important documents involved. But whatever you're doing, it's going to cause an increase of abundance in your life. But just make sure that whatever you're doing is something that you really want, And it's not just like to make the other person happy, or like it's not a temporary fix to a problem. Like if you're going to commit to something, make sure it's something that you really want, and make sure you've heard professional opinions or opinions from someone more experienced, and just weigh your options carefully. Yeah, interesting message. And then the final card is conclusions are within reach with the full moon eclipse. So yeah, this definitely gives a feeling of ending a chapter, tying up loose ends, and also just a full moon eclipse, I feel like, is a time of really intense emotions. It's like a very intense climax. And so I do think when you see each other again, there could be a lot of mixed emotions coming up. I do feel like it's overwhelmingly happy, but it's kind of like, okay, shit's getting real now in our life. We've got to like properly talk about the future and talk about the challenges ahead and talk about what scares us and what we're concerned about. I feel like you guys have been through a lot. And I think you are really close to like your breakthrough and being together in your happiest way, but also there's still like quite a bit of work to do ahead. But I'm not worried about you guys, because I feel like you're both like facing the reality of the situation, being realistic, communicating a lot with each other. And so I have no doubt that everything is going to go amazingly. So I'm very happy for you guys. These are the messages that I'm seeing for this part of the reading. So next we're going to move into the extended, and we're going to see, how will your person feel after seeing you? What will this encounter ultimately lead to? We're going to answer a yes or no question of your choice, and we are going to see any hints about when this next meeting will happen. So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below, and finally my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your person, your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number threes. So if you guys chose the pink calcite, this is going to be your reading all about your next encounter with the person on your mind. So I want to start off by just going through the list of everything that's going to be covered in today's reading. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. And here on YouTube, we're going to start by seeing the overall energies of what is going on in this connection. So we're going to look at your energy, your person's energy, and the energy that exists between the two of you. We are also going to see your guides' insights on this connection, anything they would like you to know about it. And then we're going to get into the main juicy part of the reading, which is all about your next meeting with your person. So we are going to see who will initiate this meeting, what will lead to you meeting again, the setting or the environment of your meeting. So like, where are you going to be? What type of place? What's the vibe like? We're going to see how you will feel when you see them, how they will feel when they see you, what you'll talk about together during your next meeting, and what you will do together during your next meeting. And then we're going to finish off with messages and advice from your guides. Then in the extended reading, we're going to see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to for the two of you? We are going to answer a yes or no question of your choice. So any question that you have on your mind, and we will also see the reason for the yes or no answer. And then any hints about when this next meeting is going to happen. So that is the reading for today. Thank you so much for being here and watching. And now let's get into the energies of the connection. So this part can be like an energy check for you to make sure that this is your group. These oracle cards on the left, actually one of them is tarot. I've been calling them oracle cards, but it's a tarot and an oracle. And these on the left are going to be you. These on the right are going to be your person. And then this one in the middle represents the energy between the two of you. But if you listen to the descriptions of the energies and you feel like it's switched, so this sounds more like your person and this sounds more like you, that is totally fine. You may even find that you resonate with the energy on both sides. But if you don't see yourself anywhere in this spread, then this is probably not your group. But without further ado, let's see the cards representing your energy. We have the Dreamer, which is the Fool card. Beginning, believing, protected. And we have Exalted Moon with self-regulation. Oops. On your person's side, we have the Five of Fire, which is the Five of Wands, conflicts, annoyances, competition. And then we have Night Moon with shadow work. Finally, for the energy between the two of you, we have the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. The energy of the sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. Okay, with sacral chakra being the energy between the two of you, the first thing that I want to say is that I do think that the both of you are deeply emotional people. I think you feel things quite deeply and intensely, and because of this, you just get each other. Whether or not you display these intense emotions in front of each other, I do think that intuitively, your souls can tell that emotionally you're kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to how deeply you feel things. You could both be highly sensitive people. You could both be highly empathic, highly sentimental. I just think you get each other emotionally. This could also be a sign of a clairsentient connection. So you may pick up on your person's emotions and vice versa. I also think that both of you are very inspiring for each other. I feel that there is a mutual sense of inspiration with each other and a mutual admiration. And a big theme of this connection will be intimacy. So that could be something that you are already developing with your person or that you are wanting to develop. If there are aversions or fears of intimacy, that will definitely be something that comes up and that you trigger in each other. I also think that both of you are very attractive to each other, but also just to people in general. I think both of you are externally attractive and both of you just have this inner magnetism that draws people to you. You both have a very special charm about you. So if this is a romantic connection, I have to say, you guys would make a very attractive couple. But anyway, it doesn't have to be romantic. But let's take a look at the cards on your side. So you have the Dreamer, which is the Fool, beginning, believing, protected, and you have the Exalted Moon with self-regulation. By the way, as you can maybe tell from this ox, or maybe you already knew this, but the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. So Taurus moon could be significant to this group. It doesn't have to be. Also the signs of Aquarius and Leo could be significant. But I think that you are in a very good place. Not just in this connection, but you have cultivated a place of security, inner peace within yourself. You seem to be in quite a stable energy. Even if like Aquarius and Taurus are not your signs, I do want to point out that both of them are fixed. And so I think that it is a sign of you being very stable and very secure right now. And it seems like you're in a good place. Yes, because this is air and this is earth. So it's like you're in a good place mentally. You're also in a good place like in your physical surroundings and in the material world. And if you're not feeling this energy yet, I have to say that this energy is imminent for you, that you feel like you're in a really good place mentally. You feel good about where you're at in life, where you're at in your worldly goals. There's also a sense of inner peace and self-sufficiency that is coming from you, that you truly feel whole and complete on your own. And it seems like you're not really putting any pressure on this connection right now, and you're just really focused on your own journey and you are thriving. I believe that there is a new exciting opportunity coming for you that you may not see yet. You're already doing amazing. I think things are going really well for you, but they are about to get better, and you're about to enter into an era of your life where you are really shining. You should be so proud of yourself, group number 3. I am so proud of you. You're doing great. You're in a really good place. When we look at the energy of your person, we have the 5 of Wands, which is kind of a troubling, frustrating, conflicted energy. We have the keywords conflicts, annoyances, competition, and then we have this shadow work card. So from the current energies of your connection, it seems that perhaps your person, especially mentally, might not be in as stable of a place as you are. I actually get the sense that you might be at similar levels in terms of the pursuit of your worldly goals, like your material successes. Like you both might be doing pretty well in your careers and like moving forward in that respect, but there seems to be a difference in perception that really affects your well-being. So for example, I feel like you have really worked on cultivating feeling whole and complete within yourself and not needing external things to define your worth. And I also think you've really cultivated an energy of gratitude, that even like, just look at how joyful this child looks chasing the butterfly. Like, it gives the feeling of there are miracles even in the little everyday things. And so if you're moving through life in that energy, then, and when you don't want for more or you don't expect more, every little thing feels like such a blessing and such a miracle, and you feel so grateful, and then that gratitude generates more happiness. Whereas I feel like your person may be struggling with an energy of always feeling like they don't have enough, or always feeling like they're not doing enough, and it puts them in this perpetual state of frustration and grappling with their self-worth, and either feeling like they've done something wrong, or like the universe is, what's the word? The universe is like, I don't even know what the word I'm trying to say is, being like cheap with them. Like, oh, they're entitled to more. They should have more. And like, why aren't things working out? They seem to be struggling with a feeling of lack, of like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. And maybe have not realized that they cannot solve this with more external accomplishments, with more hard work and ambition, with more validation from others. Like they maybe haven't realized that the solution comes from within, and like cultivating a good place within yourself. They may be in the process of realizing this, but I think it's very interesting that in this deck, there's only one person. You know, sometimes in the 5 of Wands, we see 5 dudes fighting with wands. And so it gives more of the feeling of conflict of others. Other people getting in the way of your best interest, other people getting in the way of your own success. And so the fact that there's only one person and they've kind of cornered themselves with all of these wands, I think it's kind of showing it's your person's own limiting beliefs that are, because all the abundance that they want to feel already exists in this moment all around them. So if they have an idea that like they're lacking in abundance, or they're lacking in worth, or they're lacking in talent, or they're lacking in intelligence, like that is not true. It's all an illusion. But it's like they can't see that it's not life keeping them from those things. It's their own mental barriers that are preventing them from realizing that it's already there. And so it feels like they're kind of stuck in this wanting for more, wanting to achieve more, wanting to obtain more, wanting to prove themselves more. And if I'm being honest with them in this mindset, it could cause them to have feelings of envy towards you, which may be strange or confusing to you, because I feel like you're both externally, like you're both doing really well, but it's just that they think that you have something that they don't, and then they feel envious of that. And perhaps you do, but it really what you have that they don't is just a mindset. It's just a gratitude mindset. It's just a wholeness and completeness and secure mindset. And like gratitude, you know? Did I already say that? Whatever. Gratitude and abundance mindset that you have. But the way they see it, it's like you're doing so well for yourself and they're not doing enough. And like you have all these great things and they don't. Which may cause them to pull away sometimes. They might feel like they're not good enough to be with you or to be in your company. Also looking at competition, they might have this kind of subconscious thing where they feel like they're in competition with you or in competition with others to prove themselves to you. And this is a very specific message, but it's coming through that in one of your previous interactions, they maybe tried to make you jealous, but like it didn't even register because you're not on that wavelength, if that makes sense. So just for an example, let's say you're getting caught up about your life and they're like, oh yeah, like I've been messaging with this really, high up person, this really like famous or important person, and like they're talking about how good of a job I'm doing and they want to work with me. Like they're talking about their accomplishment and you're hearing about this and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And like, because you're genuinely really happy for them and don't even realize that they maybe said that with the intention of trying to like get under your skin, as if like, oh, I don't have that going on for me. Like, and it's just like that wound within them like wants company or something, or feels like that's the way to connect with you. It's very distorted, I have to say. They feel like that's how they can get close to you or like keep you interested in them or something like that. But you're not even playing that game. I don't think you would have even realized that, because it probably just came across to you like they're sharing an amazing story and you're very happy for them. And then you're sharing your amazing stories thinking that they'll be so happy for you, but it's actually like making them feel inferior. And I just have to really, really clarify that is not your doing or that is not your fault. It's honestly, it's sad, and I do feel for them that they have this like internal wound. I used to have a friend who, when people around her would announce happy milestones in their life, she genuinely thought that they were saying it to rub it in her face. And I'm like, I think they're just happy and they want to like share it with their friend, So, but when you're in that place of insecurity, you start to view things in quite a distorted way. And so I think they may be struggling with that a little bit at this time. So we are going to take a look at these oracle cards to see what your guides have to say about this connection. So we have miracles with the number 44, and I feel like that just fits so well with your energy of just feeling miracles all around you and feeling blessings all around you. I do want to tell you guys with this number 44 that you are safe, that you are protected. You guys are leveling up and you're really shining and you're really thriving in life, and your spiritual team just wants you to know that you're protected and to not dim your light to make anyone else comfortable, whether that's your person, whether that's anyone else, because at the end of the day, that's not really what helps them. I'm just noticing something about the backgrounds of these cards. Like, you have this white light and blue sky behind you, and they have this yellow light and orange sky behind them. They're different, but they're both very beautiful. And I think your person just needs to realize that their success has nothing to do with measuring up, quote unquote, to someone else or meeting someone else's standards or being anything compared to anyone else. Their beauty is inherent and it's unique to them. And I think if you were to try to like make yourself smaller or downplay your accomplishments, it would only be enabling these wounds and limiting beliefs to continue. And I think that eventually, like, your truth that this is just a state of mind that you live in, I do think that ultimately it will shine through, and that on a soul level, it is inspiring this person and it is helping this person heal. And the discomfort that they feel is maybe just something that they need to go through and come out on the other side as like part of their healing. And I'm just looking at this. I don't think this is a unicorn. Does it have a horn? I think it's a Pegasus, but Pegasuses, unicorns, they do make me think of just embracing yourself, embracing your uniqueness. And so just know that you continuing to shine as bright as you do and continuing to celebrate life and continuing to be grateful for everything that comes your way, on a soul level, it is helping this person heal and embrace their true selves as well. And one day it will click for them. So I think trying to like accommodate these insecurities by like dimming your own light may actually be unhelpful for the healing work that they are doing. And it really does feel like a click. It really does feel like one day something will just shift for them. And 1919 as I'm saying that, which is like the sun. It's like the truth is being exposed, and they will learn to shine their light as well. And they will learn that it comes from within. Then, so we have the number 44 and 22. So repeating twos or repeating fours could be significant to this connection. It's funny how miracles comes up on your side and stones comes up on their side, because it just shows the difference in your perception. Like this pink calcite, for example, when I look at this, and probably when many of you look at this, it makes us so happy. It's like so beautiful. It's so magical. It's a miracle that these rocks exist. But someone else might look at it and be like, that's just a rock. But that doesn't change the inherent truth of this. So I think they're really realizing that miracles and blessings, it's all in your perception. And they need to empower themselves to realize that they can create their own narrative about what is valuable and what is magical and what they believe, rather than trying to fit society's narrative or fit someone else's narrative. But it feels like at this time, they may not even realize that they're allowed to do that, so to speak. Like, yes, you are allowed to create your own narrative. You are allowed to look at this pink calcite and see a miracle. It's like they just need to wake up to the magic that is all around them. And I'm already so excited for the day that they do, because I know that they're going to, and I think you know that they're going to as well. And the best thing you can do to serve them and to serve their healing is to keep standing in your light, because you will call them into that same energy. Yeah. All right. So We are going to get into the tarot deck that you chose now. We're getting into the juicy part of the reading, and we're going to see all the details about your next encounter with this person. So I'm just going to lay them all out at once. The first thing we're going to see is who will initiate this next encounter. So we have the moon. And what will lead to you meeting again? What will lead to you meeting with this person the next time you see each other? So we have two coming out at the same time. The Ace of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Okay, and what about the setting of your next meeting, or what type of environment will you be in? We have the Ace of Swords. Okay. How will you feel when you see them? The Seven of Pentacles. How will they feel when they see you? These are coming out quickly, eh? Justice, that is the exact card that group number 2 got for like, how will they feel when they see you? That's funny. What will you talk about when you see them next? The Eight of Cups. And what will you do together when you see them next? We have the Ten of Swords. Okay, so when it comes to who will initiate, we have the moon. So if there is, in this connection, if there's one of you who is femme or a feminine and one of you who is not, then I feel like this is indicating that this is kind of similar to group 2. It's like the same message, that the femme person or the feminine person will initiate this next meeting. Or it would be the one of you who is more like spiritual, the one of you who is more in tune with your intuition and in tune with your psychic abilities. And another thing with the moon is that you may start to dream about this person or dream about them more frequently leading up to your next meeting. Or did I already say this? That the dreams could be more intense or more vivid. And they'll probably be dreaming about you as well. I also think that this invitation could come at night. It could be an impromptu thing, you know, like reaching out to someone the night of and being like, what are you doing tonight? Or it could be like one person, like let's say one person extends an invitation for Saturday night, and then that person doesn't respond until Saturday night being like, okay, I'm coming tonight. It feels like the plans are solidified on that night. And I do think that I guess you'll be meeting at night because we're talking about this a lot. Yes, you will be meeting at night. As for what will lead to you meeting, I do think it is a specific occasion. With the Ace of Pentacles here, there's something that is happening in the 3D that becomes an opportunity for you to see each other again. So rather than it just being like, oh, there's nothing going on in particular tonight, I just want to see you, it would be something like, hey, there's this party happening on this night. Like, do you want to go? Or there's this concert of this musician we both like, or this movie is out that we've been talking about. It's like a specific event that is happening, and it becomes an opportunity to be like, hey, this thing is happening. Would you like to go experience it together? It's like, it's that kind of thing. And then Eight of Wands, this is just communication coming in. And so, oh, okay. And so it's definitely, it just feels like, it feels casual, just like, because it's Mercury, it's Sag energy, it's lighthearted. This feels like a lighthearted invitation being extended. Like, hey, there's this thing going on and I'd love for you to be there for that. Like, it's like that kind of vibe. And there's also a message coming through that whoever is accepting this invitation, there were several other things that they could be doing or several other things that they should be doing on that day, but they choose to prioritize this meeting. Yeah. In terms of the setting or the environment, we have the Ace of Swords. So I do think this is indicating that you can decide. That you can decide where this happens, and based on what your intentions are with this person. So, for example, if you're thinking, yeah, this Ace of Swords feels like it is going to go according to plan. The Knight is going to go according to plan. So if you wanted to have like a quiet environment with this person so that you can just spend quality time, or there's specific things that you want to talk about and you're thinking, okay, well, a good place for that would be at my house, then you can get them to come to your house. Or like we spoke about, if there's a specific event that is happening, then it's very obvious where it's going to be, like it's going to be at that event. But I do think that once these plans are formed, there's not really going to be any surprises in terms of like where you're going and what you're doing. Like that's all going to be clearly communicated beforehand. I feel like this is an encounter that you've been waiting for, and perhaps one that you had visualized, like how it's going to play out and what we're going to talk about. And I feel like it's more or less happening just like that. You know, there's always certain things that we don't expect, but there's not going to be any crazy surprises or like sharp left turns in the night. And I do think that there's going to be a lot of conversation, a lot of like good thought-provoking conversation and just vibes. Like whether it's just you and this person and you're like talking hours into the night, or maybe there's other people present, but it feels like the vibes are immaculate, honestly. Like, and you're really on a roll, like exchanging ideas and getting into deep topics and stuff like that. As for how you will feel when you see them, I do think it seems like you do have some kind of like ultimate goal that you want to reach with this person in the connection, but it feels like with the Seven of Pentacles that you are in no rush to make this happen. This is just one hypothetical example, and it is an example in a romantic connection. So I'm sorry if this is like a weird example for those of you who are not asking about a romantic connection. But let's say your person, like your ultimate goal is that you really want to kiss them or something. And so you're at this party with them, and that is your ultimate goal, but you're not going to rush into it because you're enjoying the vibes, and you don't want to just like cut to that. Like there's important build up and there's important catching up and like just being in each other's company and talking. It's like you do have an end goal maybe, but you also want the whole experience. Or a non-romantic example, maybe this is someone you would like to do business with. You know, you're not gonna go like, hi, anyway, would you like to do business with me? Like, no, that is your ultimate goal, but you gotta ease into it. So, you have to talk and form the bond and get caught up and blah, 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 and just let it naturally happen. You're not going to force it to happen. You're not going to force the kiss to happen. You're not going to force the business offer to happen. You're not going to blurt it out. This is Taurus energy, okay? She is natural. She is organic. She takes her time. Like she's in no rush. So I think you're kind of in a mentality of taking it slow. And even like if there's, you're talking all night and there's one thing in particular, one particular topic that you really wanted to address tonight, it's like you're holding it, you're saving it. You're saving it for the right moment where it feels natural. Which may sound like you're being calculated, but it's really not. You're just keeping it in the back of your mind and you're letting the night unfold naturally. And when it feels right and when it feels good to do so, then I think you trust that the divine is going to give you the chance to do this in your own time. So you're just not really worried about it. And then this telescope looks like observing. I honestly think you're just so happy to be in this person's company. I think you really admire this person, and there's something, you might just like looking at them, whether that's like in a romantic way, in a friend way, or you like to watch them in their element. You like to watch them do what they do. You like to watch them at work, whatever it might be. I think you're just really going to enjoy watching them. And I do wonder if there's going to be a portion of this meeting where other people are involved, because something that just came through is that you do like to watch how they interact with other people and like what different facets of them come out depending on who they're talking to. So you get to see more sides of them. You may really appreciate how they treat others and how they show up for others. So just observing them do what they do, I think brings you a lot of joy. And I think that's also why you're in no rush to like cut to the chase of what you ultimately want, because really the blessing on this fine day is just being in their presence. And that's really just enough for you. And so even like, if the big thing you want to happen doesn't happen today, like that's okay. I'm just freaking happy to be with you, dude. Like that's kind of how it's coming through. And I'm not surprised, because that's your beautiful abundance mindset. And so even within this meeting, I just see you in a really good place. And then as for how they'll feel when they see you, we have the Justice card. And like I said, this is exactly the card that came out for this question in group 2. And I am reading it in a similar way, where they feel like balance has been restored when they're around you. I think, and it makes sense, you offer them another perspective that calms them. You offer them another perspective that they needed to be reminded that they were allowed to have. I feel like this person might be surrounded a lot by one type of person in their day-to-day life. The example that's coming to my mind is, let's say they're surrounded by like hustle, productivity type people in their day-to-day life. And so those are the type of people who are like, I can sleep when I'm dead. Like I'm just gonna push through. I'm gonna keep working. And then when they talk to you, they might be like, I'm thinking of taking a week off, but I don't know. And you're like, oh, I think that's a great idea. And they're like, wait a minute. Like, because they're just expecting the answer of like, yeah, like you're gonna fall behind, eh? Like, well, I don't know if you're Canadian. The A jumped out. Yeah, like they're expecting that answer that they would get from everyone else, but then you're like, no, I think rest would be like really good for you. I think it would give you time to like reconnect with yourself. It would give you time to rejuvenate yourself. And they're like, whoa, I forgot that I'm allowed to think that way. Which also I feel like is a piece of advice. Don't be afraid to challenge this person, because I feel like a lot of the time, especially with this Libra energy, like Libra can be kind of influenced by others around them and match their energy, whether it's conscious or not, and definitely try to accommodate everyone around them. And so I feel like a lot of the times the things that they are asserting may not even be their own value, which you probably realize. It may not even be their own value. It's just something that they feel like they're supposed to say. So when they're like, yeah, like I'm pretty tired, but I just want to like push through and get this stuff done, that's probably not their values. And hearing it from you, that alternate perspective of like, maybe it would be a good thing for you to take a little break, I think it snaps them out of that. Like, oh yeah, I'm allowed to have my own view on this. I don't have to just like regurgitate what the people around me say. You kind of get them back to their self by providing the other side of it, if that makes sense. And like, that's just one example, but they may really be influenced by the people around them more than they realize, and just kind of unconsciously perpetuate their values and their narratives about life. And I feel like you just have this way of providing balance for them, providing the alternate view. And so whenever they're around you, they feel like they come back into balance, like they're centered again, like they remember what's important to them. And there's also a feeling with justice that like, it just feels right when they're around you. It just feels right. Like when you're not talking a lot, or when you're not seeing each other a lot, when you're not around, something just feels kind of off. And it's so funny, like, because I just see them in this energy of like, something feels off, but I can't figure out what it is. Like my energy just feels off, something feels off. And then when they see you, it clicks into place and they're like, oh, that's what it was. I was missing group number 3 because everything feels right again. Then you part ways again, and they do it all over again. I'd like, do you not remember what just happened? And they're like, oh, something feels off, but I can't figure out what it is. Yes, you can. It's because you missed group number 3. And it's like, that's impressive. How do you do that every time, where you like forget that you crave group number 3's company, and then only when you see group number 3 again, you're like, oh yeah, this feels nice, bro. Yeah. So then we are getting into what you talk about, and we have the 8 of Cups. So this could be one of your energy, it could be both of you, but I do feel like someone is at a crossroads in their life where they are thinking of quitting something, of not doing something anymore, because they feel like they've outgrown it. The 8 of Cups very much gives a feeling of like, there's nothing here for me anymore. I don't really enjoy this anymore. I've kind of outgrown it. I maybe want to stop doing this. And this could be something, it could be anything from like, yeah, I'm not really into like, I don't know, partying anymore. Like, I think I'm going to stop doing that. Or it could be literally like, I'm thinking of leaving the city. I'm thinking of leaving my job. It could be something big like that. But I feel like you are kind of going to talk about, yeah, because this is Saturn energy. So both of you have matured, I think, since you last saw each other. And you both recognize that, like, let's just say the last time you met was like a year ago. You both kind of recognize that like, okay, I need to fill you in on how I've changed since a year ago. And I need to show like, I'm not that same person. So I want to tell you about the things that I've realized since then, and the things that I've outgrown. Like, I'm not really that same person anymore. I'm not really feeling that anymore. I'm feeling like moving in a new direction. And then with the 10 of Swords, with what you'll do, I feel like this is emotion, right? So this is like, I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like I'm moving in this direction. Whereas this feels like clarity that something has to end. So one of you might be helping the other, or you might be helping each other realize something. It's like you already knew something needed to end in your life, but you're maybe giving each other the courage to actually do something about it, or like creating a plan. This is actually reminding me of a friend of mine who I guess had been thinking about leaving his job, and then we hung out, like a group of us hung out, and by the end of the night he was like, yeah, okay, I'm definitely, like, I'm quitting, I'm doing it. Like, he just had these realizations from the conversation and from the vibes. And 2:22 as I'm talking about this, it's 2:22 o'clock right now. And then realized like, yeah, okay, this is what I have to do. And then he actually did it. So you could be assisting each other in leaving stale energy behind, or like having the courage to walk away from something that had been nagging at you. Like, I know I have to do this eventually. Like, it's starting to not feel right anymore. And just like giving each other that push to do what you need to do. And it could be, again, it could be like one of you helping the other to do this. It could be both of you mutually who are doing it, but that is the vibe of what you will do. I also feel like with the 10 of Swords, you're probably going to stay awake for a very long time because because Ten of Swords is just, and you might go for a walk together. Looking at these footprints, you might go for a walk together during this time, especially if you're with other people. You might like leave to go for a walk together. And then this feels like literally staying up and talking until you are like dead, like you pass out kind of thing. So I think it's going to be like a very late night that you spend with them. It could even be like an all-nighter, something like that. But this is what I'm seeing. So for the last part of your reading, we're going to get some messages and advice from your spirit guides. These are upside down. So we have Inner Truth with the number 61. And this is a number in another deck. Sorry, there's a hair on my hand. In another deck, a numerology deck actually, the card number 61, I believe, is self-love. And so I kind of love that because it reminds me of your person. Like, self-love is their inner truth, and self-doubt is not their truth. And so that's why making yourself smaller to accommodate their self-doubt is not going to help them step back into their inner truth. By standing firmly in your light and standing firmly in your secure place, you are calling them in to remember their own inner truth. Look inward, be open-hearted and genuine, gain insight, act with integrity, be your authentic self. Cultivate gentleness and compassion to make the world a better place. I do think you also you both have this way of calling each other out or calling each other in a very gentle and compassionate way. And I think this is something that you do verbally in person, but it's also something that you do on a soul level. And then we have Nourishment. Oh, isn't that cool? Like, these are both blue and these are both green. So there's like, you are on the blue side and they are on the green side. We have Nourishment. Nourish your body, mind, and soul. Love and honor yourself. I feel like this is the best thing you can do to help your person heal and to help the connection move forward. Nourish your body, mind, and soul. Love and honor yourself. Take care of others and empower them to help themselves. Be positive and optimistic. Nourish others to nourish yourself. Beautiful. And it's so funny because when I read this, I think of the Six of Pentacles. And Six of Pentacles is Moon in Taurus. If you or your person doesn't have a Taurus moon, I wonder if there is like a Taurus moon in your life who is significant. Or, I don't know when you're watching this, but an upcoming new moon in Taurus or an upcoming full moon in Taurus could be important. And then for your final card, we have, whoa, you know what's interesting though? That, oh wait, I forget the order. I always forget. But the full moon in Taurus would happen either right before the new moon in Scorpio or right after the new moon in Scorpio. Since I don't even know what year you are watching this, if you feel called to, if you wanted to, you could look up when the next new moon in Scorpio is and when the next full moon in Taurus is, because they will be like 2 weeks apart from each other. I just saw 4444. So maybe that is like, it could be a very powerful time for manifesting healing in this connection. It could be a really powerful time where breakthroughs are happening. So I would definitely see when those are. Yeah. Like, whether you're watching this in 2024, 2025. Yeah. So, group number 3s, those are all of the messages I have for this part of the reading. So we're going to move into the extended now, where we see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to for the two of you? An answer to any yes or no question of your choice, including why, and any hints about when this next meeting will happen. So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me in the extended, I will have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I will have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your person, to your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Crazy Lace Agate, this is going to be a reading all about the next meeting with the person on your mind. I want to start off by just going over the list of everything that's going to be covered in today's reading. So we have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. Here on YouTube, first we are going to see the overall energies of this connection and what is going on with you, with your person, and with the energy between the two of you. We're also going to see your guides' insights on the connection, what they have to say about it. Then we get into the main part of the reading, which is all about your next encounter. So there's a lot to look at for this part. We're going to see who will initiate this next meeting, what will lead to you meeting again, the setting and environment of your next meeting. So where is this happening, or what type of place is this happening in? What's the vibe? How will you feel when you see them? How will they feel when they see you? What you'll talk about during your next meeting, and what you will do together. And then at the end, we're going to get messages and advice from your guides. So that is the YouTube reading. Then in the extended, we're going to see how your person will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to for the two of you? We are going to answer a yes or no question of your choice, including why the answer is yes or no, and any hints about when this next meeting will happen. So that is the reading that we're doing today. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching. So let's get into looking at the energies of your connection. You can think of this part as an energy check. So if what I'm describing here does sound like you, then that's a sign that this is your group. This is you, by the way. These cards on the left will be you, and these cards on the right will be your person. I was gonna say that if it sounds reversed, so if this sounds more like your person and this sounds more like you, it is totally fine to switch the energies around. You may even find that you resonate with energies on both sides, which is totally fine. However, if you don't see yourself anywhere in this spread, then this is likely not your group. So without further ado, let's take a look at the energies that represent you. We have the 10 of Air, which is the 10 of Swords, endings, recovery, and freedom. The Yang Moon with strength. Then to represent your person's energy, we have the High Priestess, intuition, wisdom, patience. And Moon Memories, the past. Then to represent the energy in between the two of you, we have transparency. The energy of transparency supports our expansion toward a higher vibrational state of being with more insight, honesty, and clarity. Okay, group number 4. The energy of this group is quite specific, so I think that you will know pretty early on if this is your group or not. It does seem like there is an ending that has happened in this connection, and it seems like it was initiated by you over here. Because you're coming through as the 10 of Swords, which talks about an ending, and you also have this Yang energy, which is, the masculine energy, so to speak, the initiator, the action taker. It seems like you ended things in this connection, or you made the decision to stop reaching out to this person, or you made a decision to put some distance between the two of you. And with this transparency in the middle, this could be indicating that there was some truth that came out about this person, about something they did, or just something about them. It could be like what they want for the future, or a way that they need love or give love that is incompatible. Like, it was like some truth came out that you just had to respond accordingly to. And I also feel like this transparency is you being honest with yourself, that ending things or putting distance was what you needed to do in that moment, is what is best for you and what was best for both of you. But what I can see is that from an emotional place, it looks like something that you didn't really want to do. And there may have been a time where you were hanging on because you still had feelings for this person, or you still, cared for them or had attachments to them in some way. But when you looked at the situation objectively, it's like you knew that you needed to move on. You knew that you needed to face the reality, face this incompatibility, or face this truth that came out, face this way, for example, in which they hurt you, or a boundary was violated. Maybe there was a deal breaker thing that came up, or a red flag where you're like, I really don't want to let go because I care about you so much, but I just know that this is going to cause problems in the future. This could also be a situation where this person was not meeting your needs in the connection, and so you were often left feeling disappointed or confused or discouraged. And at some point, the love and care that you had for them and the hopes that you had for the future were just outweighed by all of the things that drained you or stressed you out. And I just see you coming to this decision after like really hard, really difficult deliberation. Like, I don't think that it's good for me to keep going with you. I don't think it's a good thing for me to be this close to you or to be investing so much of my energy in this connection. So I feel like this transparency, it's like you facing the reality and being honest with yourself, and then also being transparent with your person about this is just what we need to do. And I feel like this strength, it is talking about the great deal of inner strength that it required for you to make this decision. Because I feel like the part of you that was still attached maybe would tell you like, no, it's okay. We can figure out a way to make it work. Like, it's like, I don't know if you've ever had someone like, well, if this resonates, then yes, you have. But sometimes when someone really hurts you or really oversteps a boundary, but emotionally you don't want to let go of them, it's almost like part of you tries to justify it. Like, oh, it's not really that bad. I'm sure we can forgive it. Or like, just for one example, maybe this was a significant other and you want to have children and they are saying like, no, I absolutely do not. And so the part of you that's not ready to let go of them yet is like, well, maybe I'll be okay without having kids. But deep down, you know that's not true. It's just that you're not ready to like say goodbye yet. It's that kind of feeling. So you had to do something really, really strong, even though you care so much for this person. You had to be honest with yourself and be like, no, I can't move on like this. And then on your person's end, we have the High Priestess. So when I look at this, it does make me think that they saw this coming in a way. So for example, if this is because there's a fundamental incompatibility between the two of you and like building your future together is just not going to work, they kind of had a nagging feeling for a long time, like a nagging gut feeling that this was not going to work out. Or this could also be like a long distance situation where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. It could be so many things, right? But they kind of felt it coming. And it's interesting, like you are in this yang energy, so you're the initiator. The high priestess is in like a feminine receptive energy. So it really does paint the picture that you are the one who said this to them. They received this message of like, I want space, or I want to end things, or this isn't going to work, or whatever it is. And the way the high priestess is sitting down also makes me think that they did not fight for you, which honestly was, well, I don't know how you felt about that. I think from their perspective, they didn't fight for you because they wanted you to know that they respect what you're saying. And if you had said to them, like, I don't think this is working, and they were like, no, come on, like, give me another chance. I think in their mind, that's like not respecting your wishes, or it's not respecting your boundaries. So that's why they didn't like chase you out, so to speak, and be like, no, come back. I feel like they just allowed it to happen, and they wanted to show that they hear what you're saying and like they get it. And if this is a situation where they were failing to meet your needs, I feel like they also saw that coming. So it's like they saw themselves not being able to meet your needs, and they knew that this day would come where it would reach a breaking point for you. And so I feel like they're just in an energy of receiving what you said and accepting it. But with that being said, I also think that this person would always leave a door open for you. So I think that whatever truth that came out, I feel like it's more something that is hard for you to accept. And so they're saying they want it to be your decision because it affects you the most. And so it's like, if you're going to walk away, I'm not going to chase you because I respect your decision. But also, if you ever wanted to come back, I would take you back in a second. I would let you back in a second. I wouldn't even think twice about it. And I feel like there's a part of them that's waiting for you, and they're definitely missing you a lot with this moon memories, the past, thinking about the past with you a lot, maybe thinking about what they could have done differently, or if they could have done anything differently. And just the fact that this is like a tropical environment and they're walking on the beach, it seems like they remember a time when things were easier, when things were happier. But I think they recognize, like, if you're really feeling this way, then there's nothing that can be done at this point. That's how they're seeing it. And I think they feel like the only way that you could move forward together is if somehow you reconcile with the truth of the situation. But they don't want to try to like convince you to feel differently about it. I think they would find that like disrespectful. So it's like, if you come to the conclusion by yourself that you still want to be with me, I would welcome you back, like just like that. But I'm not going to try to invalidate how you're feeling right now by being like, no, like forget about that and just be with me. It's like, yeah, it comes from a place of respect. Sorry, I'm like a broken record. But anyway, let's see what your spirit guides have to say about this connection. So we have portals this is a category of thresholds. And then we have air with nature. Yeah, we had threshold cards in a different group and talking about how it's like 1313, as I'm saying this, which is the death card, like endings and release. When something reaches the threshold, it's like a point of change. And I think that your guides would want you to know that you really did everything that you could on your end to make things work. So this is in no way like your fault. And definitely they would not want you to perceive this as like you gave up on the connection or like you weren't strong enough or something like that, because this is actually you standing up for yourself and you saying like, this isn't working for me, is actually what makes you so strong. Like you did something really admirable for yourself by like sticking to your values and sticking to your boundaries and what the kind of treatment that you deserve and respect and what you want out of a relationship. So I do think that your guides are proud of you for this decision, and their hope, and actually maybe this is not just a hope, but them saying that the energy will get lighter. So things may feel quite heavy right now, but with time, you will feel like a weight has been lifted. You will feel like you've made the right decision. I'm wondering if this is still kind of fresh for some of you, or if you're still feeling the heaviness of it. But I think they want you to know that it will get easier and easier. But they also want you to know that your brain will trick you, you know? So let's say you did everything you could to make this work and it just wasn't working, so you chose to walk away. When those feelings of missing them seep in, your brain will start to trick you and say, well, maybe you didn't try everything. Maybe you were being too harsh. No, you tried everything. You looked at the situation from every angle, but that sneaky part that misses them, that wants to get what it wants, you know? So we'll say like, are you sure? Are you sure it's that big of a deal? Are you sure you tried everything? Maybe it's okay. But I feel like this is really, it takes a lot of inner strength to like, it's like sticking to your values is kind of how it feels, or sticking to like what you know you want and need in the long-term future, no matter how upsetting it might be in the current moment, because there's a lot of love or care there. Okay, so we are going to get into the tarot that you guys chose now and see everything about the next encounter with your person. So I'm just going to pull all of them at once. We're going to start by seeing who will initiate this next encounter. We have the Tower. And what will lead to you seeing each other again? We have the Page of Swords. The setting or the environment of your next meeting. The Eight of Cups. Or no, that's the Six of Cups. I don't know why I saw 8 there, but it's 6. How will you feel when you see them? I can kind of tell already, but let's see. How will you feel when you see them? The Five of Wands. How will they feel when they see you? The Magician. What will you talk about when you see each other next? What will you talk about? Okay, there's 2. We're going to take these together. So we have the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Swords. And what will you do? What will you do together the next time you see each other? We have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, We're starting with the Tower card to answer the question of who will initiate this next meeting. And this is neither of you. This is definitely a divine intervention. This feels like bumping into each other, being at the same place at the same time when you didn't expect it, because just the fact that there are two people, which this is you and your person, falling out of the tower, it's like you were completely blindsided. And I think the tower is also very symbolic because the tower is something that you build up from the ground, and then in this case, it gets knocked down. And there's a feeling of, I know this might be kind of a disheartening message, but there's a feeling of lost progress. So, for example, you walked away from this connection and you haven't been talking, you haven't been thinking about them, and like you're doing well. And then you go out with friends one night and you're like, oh my God, that's them over there. And it's like, as soon as you see them, it feels like all of that progress that you made in getting over what happened, or of like not missing them anymore. It could be many things, but it's like, it's almost like you very suddenly, I actually had a moment like this recently, where something kind of traumatic happened, and for like a week, I just like returned to being 23 for like a week. I was just like in my old version of myself, and it was so weird because that event brought me back to a certain time in my life. And it kind of feels like something like that, where there was that past version of you who really missed them and still thought about them a lot. And then as time went by, you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Like, I don't care anymore. I've moved on. And then when you actually see them again and they're in front of you, it feels like it all comes tumbling down. And I don't think that's necessarily permanent, because the progress you made is real and it's meaningful, but it feels like a temporary lapse back to that old version of you. Like seeing them just triggers that, and those feelings of missing them or having a longing for them just get re-triggered again. It doesn't mean you have to identify with them forever, but that part of your brain lights up, so to speak. And it just feels very surprising. It feels like you weren't expecting to see them there at all. And they were probably not expecting to see you either. And in terms of what will lead to you meeting again, I think this is so interesting. Like, we have this Page of Swords who is looking down at the tower and looks much bigger than these two people. 22, as I'm holding these up. And so this does give me the feeling of like a spirit guide who orchestrated this. I don't know why they have done this. It could be because they feel you're meant to meet again. It could be a test of like, are you really healed? Have you really moved on? Maybe we'll find out as we keep going. But it does feel like a spirit guide has orchestrated this. And another thing I will say is that for the past few days, for me, the Page of Swords has been appearing with a kind of mischievous energy. So it's almost as if they kind of knew this would be an uncomfortable or trying situation, but they orchestrated it anyway. The Page of Swords, he has a point, but sometimes the way he delivers it can be insensitive or blunt or jarring. So, like, for example, if you were on a journey of getting over this person, I could see you thinking like, really, spirit guide, is there really not a better way that you could help me see the parts that are unhealed rather than like putting this person right in my face? Like, it's like, I get what you're trying to say, spirit guide, but did you have to do it in this way? Or it could be that the universe is being a little bit like, of all the ways we could have learned this lesson, and you have to make me bump into my ex, or, you know, I don't know if this is your ex, but it's that kind of feeling. It just feels like, even the tower, it feels quite shocking when it happens. Actually, I did have a moment like this where I had blocked my ex, and then and then my friend had to text me and be like, your ex is trying to get in contact with you. Can you unblock him? And in that moment, like, my heart was racing, and I unblocked him, and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's gonna say he misses me. And then it was like, something was still getting billed to his credit card and he wanted me to cancel it. But that moment made me realize, like, okay, shit, I'm not over this person, because when that happened, I was like high key expecting him to say he misses me, and then was disappointed. So it's like these kind of shocking things happening to show you how you maybe truly feel about the situation. But it's like, did you really have to do it in that way? So yeah, it feels like the universe being a bit blunt, or I don't know if mischievous is the perfect word, but just really like putting it in your face. If there's unfinished business, if there's something unhealed or anything like that. In terms of the setting and environment of your meeting, it will be somewhere with the Six of Cups. It will be somewhere you have been many times before, somewhere you are familiar with. It could actually be somewhere you used to spend time with this person, or it could be somewhere you used to live. It could be a hometown situation, just a place where you are familiar with. And I do think that, I mean, obviously, if you're bumping into each other, you're not at home. So you're going to be out in public somewhere. The Six of Cups could also indicate that you're with friends, like, because there's an element of you feeling very familiar and comfortable and in your element. So like people that you're very close with, or a place that you go all the time. And then like in walks this person just when you thought you were having like a chill, relaxing night in your safe place. And then boom, you bump into them and it's like, oh my gosh, that is the feeling. So that makes a lot of sense then, that we have the Five of Wands for how you will feel when this happens, because the Five of Wands, it's like a conflict, which I just think means in this situation that you are not, let's say you're not super happy that this has happened, or maybe you have mixed feelings about it, because the conflict I was thinking more of it as like you are opposing the universe's orchestration. Like, why did you do this? And kind of in resistance to it. But the Five of Wands can also indicate an internal conflict. So you could have conflicting, mixed emotions about it, where on one hand you're like annoyed, but you're also kind of weirdly happy to see them, but you're also overwhelmed, but you're also sad, like you're also nervous. There could be a lot of things swirling around inside of you, and maybe you don't really know how to feel. On the other hand, I think that your person is happy to see you because they never had any hard feelings. They were perfectly happy in the connection. Like they would never have changed anything about you. Their door is always open for you. They will always want to be with you. So when they see you, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like a positive thing for them. They feel happy to see you. And the fact that the Magician is here, like, they kind of manifested this encounter, I think. I don't think they consciously did it. I don't think they purposely went to that place because they knew you would be there. But I think subconsciously, because they were thinking about you so much and missing you so much, they ended up manifesting your presence. What I could say is that maybe if they didn't consciously go to this place because they knew you would be there, they maybe unconsciously went there because it reminded them of you, or like, because the Six of Cups can also talk about this very energy, memories, the past, and specifically romanticizing the past. So, if there's like, let's say there's a restaurant you used to always go to together. It's not like they're saying, oh, I'm going to go to that restaurant because I bet group 4 is going to be there. It's like they might have just subconsciously had an emotional pull to go there because they wanted to relive the memories of being there with you. So it is kind of like they followed your energy, or like the thoughts and feelings of you pulled them there, but it was not this conscious thing of like, I'm gonna go run up on group 4, because I feel like they're just as surprised as you are that you're actually there, but they're like pleasantly surprised, whereas I feel like you're more like, oh, here we go, like, universe, you really did that, eh? Like, okay. And then have all of these like mixed emotions coming up. It does look like you will talk. It's funny because when I was shuffling the deck and I'm asking the question, like, what will you talk about? I kind of wondered, maybe you won't talk. Like, maybe you'll just kind of awkwardly look at each other. I don't know. But it does look like you will talk, because we have the Knight of Swords here, which is someone like running in with a sword, which represents communication. And I would imagine, because they're the one who is happy to see you, that it's probably going to be them who comes up to talk to you. And also just the fact that even the Knight is moving this way. So moving from your person's side of the spread over to you. And I wonder if that's even how you realize that they're there. Like, maybe they just come up to you and are like, hey, or like tap you, or they text you like, are you at this place? I think I see you, or something like that. But it does look like they're gonna initiate and come up and start a conversation with you. And with this Ace of Cups here, now this can mean two different things. It could mean that I definitely think you'll be catching up on like how life has been and blah, 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 and stuff like that. Because it's been a while since you've spoken and seen each other at this point. And it seems like you will be, when you're hearing about each other's lives, you will be very happy for each other. So, the updates that you have to give each other about how life has been will be pretty positive things. And some of the things that you used to talk about when you were in each other's lives will have come to fruition. And so there's a feeling of being mutually like excited and happy for each other. Just for an example, maybe when you were in each other's lives, one of you had a dream school that you wanted to go to. And so now when you're meeting up, you get to say like, oh yeah, I got into that school that I always wanted to go. Oh my gosh, congratulations. And they know exactly what you're talking about, obviously. So, and that may actually be a prediction for this group. If there are hopes and dreams that you would frequently talk about with each other, this is a sign that you will accomplish those hopes and dreams, and that they will accomplish their hopes and dreams. And when you see each other again, you'll get to share that good news with each other. It's bittersweet, because I'm just seeing this moment that you tell them that big thing that you accomplished, and they're like smiling and they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And hearing that from them feels really good, and it feels really comforting. Like, you've already told this to many people in your life, and many people have already congratulated you, but when they smile at you and say they're proud of you and say they're happy for you, it just like fills a hole inside of you. Like, it just makes you happy to hear that from them, and it makes you happy to know that they're happy and they're doing well. So yeah, I just think this Ace of Cups is talking about happy feelings resurfacing, and maybe like feelings of love resurfacing. That doesn't mean, like, these feelings are valid. As much as you were as much as you were maybe uncomfortable when you saw them or when you realized that they were there and when they approach you, I think once you get to talking, it's just like you slip back into that place of ease, because this is the person you know, like it's still the same person that you knew and that you loved, and the idea of them being there might have been jarring, but once you're talking to each other, it just flows really smoothly and it's very nice. And then in terms of what you will do together, there is some small offering that is happening between the two of you. And this can be so many different things. For some reason, the first thing that came to my mind was exchanging contact information. So I wonder if like one or both of you had changed your number or something, or maybe you have a new social media, or maybe you're unblocking each other, or maybe you unfollowed each other and you're refollowing. There's something about offering each other that way of connecting again, just as like a token of something. It could also be that they're offering you an opportunity, whether that's directly from them or through one of their connections. Like they might have some connections that can help you out, or they might offer to help you with something. They might offer to drive you somewhere, which is very specific. And I do think for many of you, again, because it's coming from their side towards you, I think that they are making some kind of small offer like that to you, kind of as a way to test the waters of how you feel at this point, and also just to let you know, like, I'm always going to love you. Like, how I feel about you is never going to change, and I'm always going to be here for you. So, yeah, I don't think it's a super big, crazy offer, like, but it's just a little thing so that you know that they always care and that they're always going to be here if you need them. And I do think this exchange is going to end on a positive note. It might I feel like when you try to analyze it, you get confused. But when you let yourself just be in the feeling of being around them, it does feel like happy and comfortable and peaceful, because that's just how they made you feel. And that's why it was so hard to come to this decision. So I could see you after this encounter being confused and maybe have to work out with your guides or with the universe, like, why did this happen? And that's a whole other can of worms, but that's what I see happening in this next exchange. So for the last part of the reading, we are going to get some messages and advice from your guides. So we have gentle influence, affect change with small gestures. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Affect change with small gestures. Yeah, I feel like they really miss you and want you back in their life, but they don't want to push it because they feel like you've made your decision. Take a gentle approach. Be clear in your purpose and devoted to your cause. Be patient and flexible and persist. I feel like this is them. I feel like that's their energy. That they're always gonna be there. Unless if you're like, go away, I never want to see you again, then they'll go away. But they're always gonna care about you. And I feel like their energy will be around. And then we have decrease. So interesting, we have two, they're not exactly the same blue, but two blue cards. So the color blue could be significant. It could be related to the throat chakra, meaning that there is maybe some unfinished business that the two of you need to talk about. Simplify your life. Decide what is important. Find balance in life's ups and downs. Draw on your inner strength. Be your best self. Things will increase in time. And then we have luck is on your side with new moon in Sagittarius, which generally when this card appears, it makes me think that no matter what happens or no matter what you choose to do, you will be happy. And whatever choice you make, the universe will work in your favor. So you won't be rewarded or punished for choosing one thing or the other. You will be worked with. And this is also not a time-sensitive situation because this person, I honestly don't think they're going to move on, at least not anytime soon. Okay, so those are all the messages for this part of the reading. We're going to take it over to the extended now, where we see how they will feel after seeing you. What will this encounter ultimately lead to for the two of you? We're going to answer any yes or no question of your choice, including why, and any hints about when this next encounter will happen. So if that sounds good to you and you would like to join me over in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I will also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your person, your higher selves, your spirit guides, your spiritual teams, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.